Hello everyone, I am Dr. Nilanjana Bhattacharya from SVIMS, Kolkata. Today my topic is plasmid. So as we all know, plasmid is an important tool in biology, especially in the field of biotechnology and microbiology. In this video, I will discuss about the plasmids, their unique features, properties, specific gene segments, those are present within the plasmids, along with their functions and different types of plasmids. So let's start with a brief introduction. So first, what is plasmid? Plasmids are small, usually circular but sometimes linear, supercoiled double-stranded DNA molecule present in mostly all species of bacteria. The term plasmid was first introduced in the year 1952 by Joshua Lederberg. Plasmids are distinct from the normal bacterial genome and they are non-essential for cell survival. They are mainly found in bacteria, but they can also be found in archaea and multicellular organisms. Plasmids are also known as sex factors, conjugants, extrachromosomal replicons, and transfer factors. So why it is known as sex factor? Because depending on the presence or absence of plasmids, we can determine the sex of bacteria. Bacteria which have plasmids are male cell or male strain, and those lack plasmids, they are female. Male bacteria, they are also known as the donor and the females are recipient. Plasmids are often associated with conjugation, a mechanism of horizontal gene transfer process. Donor bacterium donates plasmid and after receiving the copy of plasmid from donor, the recipient becomes another donor. That is why plasmid is also called conjugant. Jacob, Brenner and Cousin defined a replicon as the unit in which the cell controls individual acts of replication. The replicon initiates and completes synthesis once per cell cycle. Plasmids are considered replicons as they replicate autonomously. They are also called transfer factors as transfer of plasmid takes place during conjugation from one bacterial cell to another bacteria. Next, the properties of plasmids. Plasmids are extrachromosomal DNA elements and as I have told you, they can replicate independently. They contain genes that are non-essential but often beneficial to the bacterium. In many bacterial species, plasmids are responsible for a particular gene transfer between cells and that gene transfer process is known as conjugation. Plasmid size varies from 1 to over 1000 kilobase pair. Plasmids differ from chromosomes in being small and coding for genes that are non-essential for the bacterial survival. So plasmids provide a mechanism for horizontal gene transfer within a population of microbes. Plasmids may carry genes that provide resistance to naturally occurring antibiotics in a competitive environmental niche, or the proteins produced may act as toxins under similar circumstances. Plasmids can also provide bacteria with the ability to fix elemental nitrogen or to degrade any organic compounds that provide an advantage when nutrients are scarce. That is why we can say plasmids are non-essential but beneficial to their host. So we can say that absence of plasmids does not kill bacterium, but their presence provides additional benefits to the bacterial cell. The largest plasmid known carries 1674 genes. Certain plasmids, for example Borrelia burgdorferi, are known to be linear. It has at least 17 plasmids. Among these, 2 are circular and 9 are linear molecules. Plasmids compatibility refers to the ability of two different plasmids to coexist stably in the same cell. What do you mean by compatibility of plasmids or compatible plasmids? In a bacterium, different plasmids can only co-occur if they are compatible with each other. An incompatible plasmid will be expelled from the bacterial cell. So, plasmids are incompatible if they have the same reproduction strategy in the cell. This allows the plasmids to inhabit a certain territory within it without other plasmids interfering. Next, copy number of plasmid. Copy number refers to the number of copies of a plasmid present in a particular host cell. Larger plasmids are present in smaller number. For example, 1 to 2 plasmids are present in a particular cell, and small plasmids may be found in high copy number. Approximately 40 plasmids may present within a host. Single copy plasmids replicate and segregate with the bacterial chromosome. The multiple copy number undergo more than one replication for each replication of the bacterial chromosome. So plasmids are categorized according to the copy number. Number 1, low copy number plasmids, and in this category mostly plasmids are present in a cell, either 15 to 20 copies per cell. In medium copy number plasmids, plasmids are present in a cell. The number may vary from 20 to 100 per cell. And whenever we are talking about high copy number plasmids, approximately 500 to 700 copies of plasmids are present per cell. Next, genes which are normally present in plasmids. A plasmid must contain an origin of replication, which is denoted as either ORI-C or ORI-V. Without an origin of replication, a plasmid cannot replicate, and when the cell divide, one daughter cell would inherit a plasmid and the other would not. A plasmid contains origin of transfer, that is ORI-T. The F factor is self-mobilizable. It can transfer itself to other cells, and this transfer initiates at ORI-T site. The F factor also contains a number of insertion sequences, for example IS2, IS3 and IS3B, and the transposon TN1000. As we all know, these are all transposable genetic elements. In plasmid, the polylinker is one of the most important parts of the molecule. Polylinker is also known as MCS, multiple cloning site. So basically, a polylinker is a short sequence of DNA consisting of a few sites for cleavage by specific restriction enzymes. MCS allows for easy insertion of DNA through ligation or restriction enzyme digestion. And this particular site basically helps in recombinant DNA technology whenever we are using plasmids as vector. The antibiotic resistance gene is one of the main components of plasmids. These genes play an important role in drug resistance. Basically, resistance genes help a bacterial cell defend against environmental factors such as poisons or antibiotics. Next, types of plasmids. By their ability to transfer from one bacterium to another, the plasmid can be subdivided into two groups. One is conjugative plasmid and second one is non-conjugative plasmids. So conjugative plasmids contain a particular gene sequence, that is ORI-T or transfer genes, and it consists of approximately 40 different genes, and non-conjugative plasmids are those they don't have ORI-T or origin of transfer. The plasmids can also be categorized on the basis of their functional properties. Basically, there are 5 main classes: F plasmids or fertility plasmids, R plasmids or resistance plasmids, col plasmids, degradative plasmids, and virulence plasmids. Fertility plasmids, also known as F plasmids, contain transfer genes that allow genes to be transferred from donor bacteria to another recipient bacterium via conjugative tube and the process known as conjugation. Our plasmids contain genes that protect a bacterial cell against any environmental poisons or antibiotics. Col plasmids is a special type of plasmids which contain genes that make a particular protein that is known as bacteriocin or colicins. This protein kills other bacteria, those who lack col plasmids, and thus defend the host bacterium. Degradative plasmids help the host bacterium to digest compounds that are not commonly found in nature, such as camphor, xylene, toluene, salicylic acid, etc. And last but not the least, the virulence plasmid. When a virulence plasmid is inside a bacterium, it turns that bacterium into a pathogen, which is an agent of disease. For example, E. coli has several virulence plasmids. Naturally, E. coli is found in the human gut and in other animals. But certain strains of E. coli can cause severe diarrhea and vomiting. Keeping a plasmid is hard work for a bacterial cell because replicating DNA, both chromosomal and plasmid, use up energy. However, by protecting its bacterial host from stress-related death, plasmids make themselves indispensable. Bacteria with the plasmid will live longer and have more opportunity to pass on the plasmid to daughter cells or to other bacteria. Bacteria without the plasmid are less likely to survive and reproduce. So, from the overall discussion, we can conclude that in addition to the chromosomal DNA, bacteria often contain plasmids, that is, small circular DNA molecule, and they are usually not essential for the bacterium's day-to-day survival, but they help the bacterium to overcome occasional stressful situations. Thank you.